Hanukkah Sameach. I want to discuss the view of Hanukkah in the eyes of our pivotal Rishonim. That would be the Rambam and the Ramban. The Rambam here is portrayed in the statue of him in Cordova in Spain, and Ramban, according to the popular sukkah decoration, they represent the rationalistic versus the more mystical view of the nature of Torah and mitzvot. For the Rambam, the meaning of Hanukkah is the standard story that we tell popularly, that there were gezerot, that there were evil decrees, that the people were not allowed to practice, keep the Torah and the mitzvot, and there were incursions against the Jewish property and sexual offenses, and the Mikdash was profaned by the Greeks. So there was a revolt from the Bnei Hashmonai, who the Rambam calls the high priests, who then came back, and there was the miracle of the oil, which is recounted in the Gemara. And finally, these days are called Hanukkah, and there's a chag to commemorate them, a semi-national chag, much like Purim. So that's the understanding of the Rambam. For the Ramban, it's a cascading series of midrashim based on a problem. Why does the section of the menorah in Parshat Baalotcha come after the matanot of the Nisiim, after the dedication gifts of the princes of the various tribes? And in the first understanding, there's a midrash that Rashi brings that Aaron was upset that his group, the Leviim, didn't bring a gift to the temple, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "Don't worry, your gift will be the maintaining of the menorah." And then we have a statement by Rabbeinu Nisim, the Ran, that this same basic issue, but in the case of the Ran, he says, and in fact, it's the Hanukkah lights which will commemorate the menorah even after that. Your great great grandchildren, the Maccabees, the Hashmonayim, will come and also perform a great Yeshua, which will be commemorated by lights. And finally, there's a Tanhuma which says something rather similar, according to the Ramban, saying the point of this is Aaron was consoled because even after the Chorban, after the destruction of the temple, there would still be the lights of the Chanukiah to commemorate the lights of the menorah. So we see that the Rambam has a rather nationalistic view, a view which basically commemorates the heroism and the historical story, whereas for the Ramban, it's really all about the light. And the meaning of Hanukkah is to have these lights illuminating the beginning of the winter, the dark, wet days at the beginning of the winter, and for us to contemplate light and the illumination in general. And that's really the difference between the two of them. Hanukkah Sameach.